Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the role-based access control protocol. And in the previous lectures, already we have seen the MAC and DAC, that is nothing but the mandatory access control and the discretionary access control. So these two topics we have already discussed. These are nothing but the types of access controls we are discussing. So in the first type, we have seen the discretionary access control, that is DAC. Then we have seen the mandatory access control, MAC, and today we are going to talk about the role based access control. It is also called as RBAC. So role based access control. Okay, now what do you mean by this role based access control? That we'll discuss first, and then I will revise whatever we have seen, because this is the last topic of this particular module which I am going to cover. Okay, now as the name itself suggests, the main focus is on the role based access control protocol. The main focus in the role based access control protocol, RBAC, the main focus is on the role. So according to the role of an individual, or according to the role of the user, the privileges and the access will be given, right? Might be possible whatever the privileges or access will be given, those will be for the temporary period or for the limited period. Means what? It will be the access rights will be only for a day, or I can say for some time, some hours, and then the privileges will be revoked. So in that way, this role based access control mechanism works, right? Now before moving into the role based access control protocol, let me quickly revise what we have seen in the discretionary access control and what we have seen in the mandatory access control. So discretionary access control is that whenever a user can see or a user can view or can access the object X but will not be able to access the object Y, right? In the same way, the user B will be able to access the object Y but will not be able to access object X. So that is nothing but what I can say, the discretionary access control mechanism. But if we talk about the mandatory access control mechanism, then there is a different scenario, because the classification mechanism, the classification terminology comes out, because the mandatory access control mechanism is used in the uh, in the military applications, or I can say the government organizations like CBI, the Intelligence Bureau, and so on. So there the classification of the documents or the classification of data is required. That's why the data will get classified into top secret, secret, and confidential manner, right? But here in the role based access control protocol, we this particular mechanism is not having a set of rules over which a particular access control mechanism works out. There we can turn out in any way. Either you can use DAC and MAC along with this RBAC. Means you can use the discretionary access control, you can use the mandatory access control also along with this role based access control mechanism, right? So this is an overview I am trying to tell you. Now let me give you, if I want to tell you the definition of this role based access control mechanism, and if I am taking the example of our college, so there you can see we are using ERP in our college. So in ERP, every user has been given a different right. Every user is having the privileges or access rights in ERP. Mean to say, a user can only view their attendance or can view their marks of the UTs and other marks, right? But the user cannot enter the marks, the user cannot enter the attendance. Now if I am coming to the privileges of the faculty, there they can enter the marks, they can delete the marks, they can alter the marks, right? But if I come to the, what I can say, if I go upper side, like on the HOD side, or on the principal side, so they are having some different rights other than the faculties and students, right? So this is nothing but what I can say, a role based access control mechanism kind of. Okay, so this is the definition. If I this definition I am telling you so that you people will get a quicker understanding of this ERP, of this role based access control mechanism. Okay, now let me come to the main picture, that if I am telling that this what actually this if I want to formally define this role based access control mechanism, then this role based mechanism is is recently another technique through which the access rights are managed and controlled to maintain the database security in large organizations or companies. Now, see, the access rights, the access rights are bound in organizational roles, after which the individual user can take up the specific roles to get a specific rights. Right. Now, just now I have told you these permissions can be granted and can be revoked. Mean to say, these permissions will be up to, these permissions can be for a specific period. I can say for half hour, for 1 hour, for a day, for week, for month, likewise. Right. Now, it is not compulsorily true that every time whatever the permissions are being granted, those permissions will be for a limited period. Might be possible that those permission will be for the long time. Okay, so this will get done by using the grant and revoke command. So the grant will give the, or will grant the permission, and whereas if I am talking about revoke, so it will remove the permission. I can say it will revoke the permission, right? Now see, just now I have given you an example of our college where we are using ERP. So in the same way, if I am taking an example of the company, there I am having sales manager, purchasing manager, clerk, the manager of the individual departments. So each one will have the individual access rights. Now if I am taking an example of the bank, you can see on our side, if we are the customers, so as a customer we will not be getting any access rights in terms of, will get an access right definitely, but not up to what I can say, the updation level. We cannot update anything from our side, right? If you are putting money, if you are depositing money in the bank, then whatever the clerk or the cashier will be there, he or she will be updating. Means what, he or she will be getting an access right on their side, so that user will get the access control, right? One privilege, I can say. If I am coming to the another example, that if I am taking a manager of a bank, so he or she will have an access right more than whatever the access rights are being given to the clerk or cashier. So this, whatever the example I am giving you a role based, I am giving you an example of the role based access control mechanism, right? Now now whatever the permissions are being granted, these are the common security privileges, right, for a role that is assigned to it. Now one more thing, this role based access control can be used to strengthen the security of the organization, by associating with the other access control like DAC and MAC. I can say the discretionary access control and mandatory access control. Now these privileges, whatever the role based access control privileges, in such a way that we can use those privileges in such a way that the users having a proper authority for a role will get an access right, access specific resources and data, right? now Now one more term, there is a terminology that is called as the mutual exclusion. Mean to say, suppose I am saying I am having one user, that user is, this particular user is having three roles. One is saying, I am saying he is a manager of the company. I am saying he is an employee of the company also. Employee means, if I am saying he is managing, he is the manager of the sales department. If I am saying he is the manager of the sales department, manager of sales. If I am saying he is a manager of the finance department also, and if I am saying he is, what I can say, the HR manager also, right? He is a HR manager also. Now you can see, the same person A, if I am naming it as, if I am saying a person A who is having three different roles. He is having a sales department, manager of the sales department. He is the manager of the finance department, and he is an HR manager also. Right. In that case, how a single person will be able to handle all these roles? So there is a term that comes into picture, that is called as the mutual exclusion. Right. There is a term that is called as the mutual exclusion. So what is this mutual exclusion is? This mutual exclusion is that when it comes into a picture, because if the mutual exclusion of roles means the simultaneous use of two or more roles by the user is not possible at a time. Just now I have told you. So there are two categories of the mutual exclusion. The first one is called as the static exclusion, and the next one is called as the runtime exclusion. What do you mean by static exclusion? It is also called as the authorization time exclusion. Right, let me show you here also, so that instead of hearing you will be able to see whatever I am telling you. You can see there the categories of the exclusion. The first one is the authorization time exclusion. It is also called as static exclusion, and another time is called as the runtime exclusion. Right. What do you mean? What is the difference between the runtime exclusion? This runtime exclusion is also called as the static exclusion. You can see this. The runtime exclusion is also called as the static exclusion. Now, what is the difference between this runtime exclusion and static exclusion? If I am saying a particular person will be able to handle, suppose what I am trying to tell you, when the authorization time exclusion, the or the what I can say the runtime exclusion does not permit a user to authorize for two roles at a time. Right, means what the static exclusion terms, the static exclusion says what, it does not permit a user to authorize for two or more roles. Mean to say at a time he will be able to handle only sales manager, or he will be able to handle only the HR manager, or he will be able to handle only one role, that was I have taken as a finance manager. Right. Whereas if I am taking an example of the runtime exclusion or runtime exclusion, so it permits the authorization of two mutually exclusive roles at the same time. Mean to say, if I am saying I am having HR manager and sales manager, so at a time both the roles he will be able to handle, or privileges will be given to handle both the roles. So this is the what I can say the the mutual exclusion in the role based access control mechanism. Right. Now, one more term comes out to be one more important thing is that whatever the roles we are going to provide, those roles we are going to provide depending on the cost of the company, because whatever the cost it will be leading to the company, that also we need to take care. So there, let me take an example so that I'll make you more clear. Now you can see, if you will be able to see this example. So this example will make you more clear, will give you more clear picture. Here you can see, grant the role top management to the employee type 1. Right, mean to say, if I am saying this the one role has been assigned, that role is top management, and the employee type I have given, you can see here the top management, and the it has been assigned to one kind of employee, that is nothing but this E type. E type is nothing but the employee type 1. Right, and this E type 1, the employee type 1 has been assigned a top management role like manager, the executive managers, and so on. Right, whereas if I am coming to the another example, I am having a clerk which is assigned to the E type 2, the employee type 2. So if I am taking this another type, it is nothing but E type, employee type 2, that has been assigned the clerk, means the lower management, not the management, the lower, what I can say, the lower post. Right, so it makes difference. Are you able to understand what I am trying to tell you? This is one type of employee I am having, and this is the another type of employee I am having. So which particular employee, to which particular employee which particular role is to be assigned, that also we need to take care. And this also we need to we need to take into consideration that these roles are being assigned in such a way that it should improve the, or it should increase the efficiency by utilizing the IT constantly, and by minimizing the cost of the company, right, or cost of the organization. So this is the what I can say uh, all about the role based access control mechanism. Now let me come to the advantages and disadvantages part. So which are the different advantages of this role based access control mechanism? See, this role based access control mechanism provides the flexibility, because either we can use it along with the DAC or MAC. Either we can use it as the DAC, discretionary access measure, or we can use it as MAC, mandatory access control mechanism. Means whichever the rules we are going to provide, that we can provide either a mandatory control, or we can provide it as a discretionary control. Right. Then next one, The policy neutrality, just now when we have started there, at that time also I have told you that the policy neutrality is there, mean to say there is no policy as such for the role based access control mechanism. We can modify, we can customize the access control depending on our choice or our requirements, right? Because in DAC we don't have any kind of choice, and in MSc forget about it, because in MSc everything is mandatory kind of thing, so there we cannot do anything, we cannot customize it. But if we, when we come into the role based access control mechanism, there we are having a choice that we can customize, because there is a policy neutrality is there, no such policy exists. So there we can customize our access control. Then the security management and administration is there, the security management and administration, right? Because whatever the roles, which particular role is to be assigned to the which employee, that all that we can discuss. That's why this particular advantage is there, security management and administration support. Then the next one is user defined organization specific policy. User defined and organization specific policy definition will be there, and easy deployment over the internet. So I have intentionally, I have given you an example of the ERP, because ERP has been defined or deployed over the internet. That's why on your mobile phone also you will be able to see your marks, you will be able to see your attendance, everything at any time. So these applications which on through which this role based access control mechanism are being implemented are easy to deploy over the internet. So these are some advantages. Okay, so this is all about the role based access control mechanism. Hope so you people have got it. I will quickly I will revise it whatever I have tried to tell you. See this role based, what 4 points we have seen. First point we have seen what do you mean by definition of the role based access control mechanism. Second point we have seen uh, in role based access control mechanism we are having a mutual exclusion. And third point we have seen the, what I can say, which particular employee to assign which particular role, depending while considering the cost of the company and the efficiency of the company. And fourth point we have seen the advantages, right? So what do you mean by role based access control mechanism, that we have seen. Then we have seen one more time, let me repeat it. Then we have seen mutual exclusion. So there are two types of the mutual exclusion. The first one is called as the, what I can say, runtime exclusion, and second one is called as the static exclusion. A runtime exclusion is nothing but, the runtime exclusion is nothing but what, uh, yeah, if a user permits the in run sorry let me talk about static exclusion. In static exclusion the user will not be permitted to handle two roles at a time, whereas in runtime exclusion the user will be permitted, right? So this is all about the mutual exclusion. Then we have seen example, grant role top management to E type 1 and grant the role clerk to E type 2. Means for one kind of employee we are assigning the top management positions, and for one kind of employees we are giving a lower positions. So the why we are able to assign this, depending on the cost of the company and the efficiency they can put, right? While utilizing the the IT efficiency also, the information technology efficiency also. And then we have seen the advantages, where I am having the flexibility, the policy neutrality, and the security management and administration support, and user defined and organization specific policies. And one more advantage is that they are easy to deploy over the internet. So this is all about the role based access control mechanism. So we have seen, we have already completed three types. First one was DAC, discretionary access control mechanism. Then we have seen the mandatory access control mechanism, and then we have seen just now, that is the role based access control mechanism, which we can use along with the combination of DAC and MAC, right? In discretionary access control mechanism we can view only one object at a time. If we are mean to say, if we are able to view object X, then we will not be able to view object Y, whereas user B will be able to access object Y, and but he will not be able to access object X, right? And in what I can say, the mandatory access control mechanism, everything is being classified, because the non-classified data, even though an unauthorized user access that data, we don't have any problem, because the security will not get compromised. But when it comes to the classified information, like top secret, secret and confidentiality. So there, if suppose the top secret is being shared by an, or the top secret has been viewed or accessed by the unauthorized user, so exceptionally grave damage will be there, can cause to the national security, right? And likewise for the secret and confidentiality. So these are the levels we have discussed: top secret, secret and confidential. Okay, and just now we have finished up with the role based access control mechanism also. Okay,